You don't expect the devil to look at you with pleading eyes. Yet there he was, the ruthless CEO everyone feared, his hand gripping mine as if it was the only thing keeping him alive. And for a moment, I didn't know whether to laugh, cry, or run. When I first stepped into his office, I was ready for the job of my life. A stable paycheck, a sharp suit, and a chance to prove myself in the middle of New York City's concrete jungle. But I hadn't signed up for him, the man behind the empire, the one they called ice-blooded. Lucas Hale, the CEO whose stare could freeze a room. "Sit down," he ordered on my first day, not even glancing at me as he scribbled across a stack of contracts. His voice was smooth, steady, but sharp as glass. I sat, clutching my notes like a kid on his first day of school. He didn't smile. He never smiled. But when his dark eyes finally lifted and pinned me down, I felt something dangerous stir in my chest. It was supposed to be professional. Always professional. And for weeks, I convinced myself it was. I typed his emails, organized his meetings, and endured his impossible demands. He didn't thank me. He didn't even acknowledge me outside of work. I was just another cog in his machine. But the truth is, every night I went home, couldn't get him out of my head. Maybe it was the way he stood at the window when the city lights bled into the glass. His reflection framed like a man trapped in his own cage. Maybe it was the silence in his office, heavy and suffocating, as if he carried 1,000 storms in his chest. Or maybe it was the fleeting, almost imperceptible softness in his gaze when he thought no one was watching. I should have hated him. Instead, I found myself memorizing the way his tie always loosened after 9 p.m. The faint lines of exhaustion carved beneath his eyes. The loneliness he tried so hard to bury. And then came the night everything cracked. It was late. Everyone had gone home. I was still at my desk, tapping away at his quarterly reports. He stepped out of his office, jacket off, shirt sleeves rolled. And for once he didn't look like the untouchable CEO of Hale Enterprises. He looked human. "You're still here," he said, his voice quieter than usual. I glanced up, startled. Well, someone has to make sure this empire doesn't collapse while you're brooding at the window. His lips twitched almost a smile. But not quite. "You talk too much. And you work too much." I shot back, surprising myself. Normally I kept my mouth shut around him. But maybe it was the hour, or the exhaustion, or the way his eyes softened under the dim office lights. He didn't reply. Instead, he walked closer, his footsteps slow, deliberate. My heart raced. For the first time, I felt cornered not by his authority, but by his nearness. And then he said it. Quiet, almost fragile, "Don't leave." I blinked. "What?" His hand reached out, trembling just enough for me to notice. He gripped mine, strong yet desperate, his cold mask shattering. His eyes, God. Those eyes were filled with something raw and unspoken. "Don't leave me," he whispered. It was the moment I realized everything I thought I knew about him was a lie. The cold, ruthless CEO was just a man drowning in silence, begging for someone to stay. And suddenly, I wasn't sure if I could survive walking away. I never thought love could feel like a battlefield. But that was exactly what it became. Every day after that night, Lucas seemed torn between pulling me closer and pushing me away. At the office, he was the CEO again, controlled, distant, impossible. But at night, in the quiet corridors when the world wasn't watching, he would glance at me like a man starving for something he didn't dare to taste. I hated him for it. And I loved him even more for it. The breaking point came on a rainy Friday evening. The city was drowning in storms. And inside his office, so were we. I had just handed him the final draft of a proposal when his phone rang. He didn't answer it. He just stared at the caller ID. Jaw clenched. Eyes dark. "Lucas," I whispered, sensing something heavy. He shoved the phone into a drawer. "It's nothing." But it wasn't nothing. I could see the shadows crawling across his face. The fear he couldn't disguise. That was the first time I realized his empire wasn't built on certainty, it was built on secrets. "You're lying to me," I said, my voice sharper than I intended. "You ask me not to leave, but you won't even let me in." He stood, slamming his fist onto the desk. "Because if you knew the truth, you'd run. And I can't." His voice cracked. He turned away, shoulders trembling. I took a step closer. My heart pounded, but I refused to back down. "Then let me decide. Don't you dare take away my choice." For a moment, silence. The storm outside roared. And then he whispered, "My father built this company on lies. Illegal deals. Dirty money. And now everything's collapsing. I'm fighting to keep it afloat. But I'm drowning. If you stay near me, you'll drown too." My chest tightened. All his coldness. All his walls, they weren't cruelty. They were shields. And now they were breaking. "Lucas," I said softly, reaching for his hand. He flinched but didn't pull away. "I don't care about your empire. I care about you. And I'm not leaving." That night, something inside him shattered completely. He kissed Menet like the cold CEO, but like a man terrified of losing the only thing that still kept him alive. His lips were rough, trembling, desperate. I let myself fall, even though I knew the fall might break me. But love is never simple. The next week, rumors spread through the company like wildfire. Someone had seen us together, and soon whispers became weapons. A scandal. The ruthless CEO and his secretary. The board wanted answers. The press circled like vultures. And I could see Lucas retreating again behind his icy mask. "This is my fault," I told him one night, when he looked more ghost than man. "No," he said, voice flat. "It's mine. I dragged you into this. And the only way to protect you is to let you go." My heart broke like glass. He said it so calmly, as if it was the only solution. But his eyes betrayed him, they burned with pain. With love. With the same desperation from that night when he begged me to stay. "Lucas," I choked, tears stinging. "Don't do this." He cupped my face, his touch trembling. "You deserve peace. Not me." And just like that, he walked away. The weeks that followed were unbearable. I threw myself into work, but every corner of that office haunted me with his presence. The smell of his cologne, the echo of his footsteps, the way his voice lingered in the silence. I told myself I hated him for leaving. But the truth, I loved him so much it hurt to breathe. It wasn't until the night of the annual shareholders gala that everything changed. The ballroom was dazzling, filled with champagne and silk gowns. Lucas stood at the center, immaculate in his black suit, cold and untouchable as ever. But when his eyes found mine across the room, the mask faltered. Just for a second. The speeches began. Numbers, promises, lies dressed as optimism. But then Lucas did something no one expected. He dropped the script. "I built my career on silence," he said, voice steady, echoing through the hall. "But silence has cost me everything that matters. This company was built on my father's corruption. I spent years hiding it. Tonight, I won't hide anymore." Gasps filled the room. The board members looked horrified. But he didn't stop. His gaze never left mine. "I don't care if this costs me everything, because I've already lost the one thing I can't live without." The world blurred. My heart slammed against my ribs. He was risking his empire, his reputation, everything, for me. The hall erupted in chaos. But I didn't hear it. I only saw him standing there, stripped of his armor, finally free. I don't remember moving, but suddenly I was in his arms. His lips crashed into mine in front of everyone. The kiss fierce, reckless, unstoppable. For the first time, he didn't hide. Neither did I. Afterward, the fallout was brutal. The press tore him apart. The board threatened to remove him, and the empire trembled. But Lucas didn't flinch. He rebuilt, brick by brick, this time with honesty. And he never let go of my hand again. Months later, on a quiet evening in his penthouse, the city glowing beneath us, he held me close on the balcony. His voice was low. "Raw. I used to think power was everything," he whispered. "But the truth is, I'd burn it all to the ground if it meant keeping you." I smiled through tears, pressing my forehead to his. "Good thing you don't have to choose." And for once, Lucas hailed the cold, ruthless C. Oswald. A real smile. The kind that melted every wall, every wound. Love had broken us, rebuilt us, and set us free. I never left, and he never let me go. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.